Welcome to Western Perspective. I'm Madeline Lombardi. Storytellers from Mugabala Books, Australia's leading Indigenous publishing house, have journeyed from Yaru country, also known as Broome, to share culture and storytelling to audiences here in Boorloo, also known as Perth. WAMN News spoke with Cole Baxter from Mugabala's social media team and Aggie Manel Caracciolo from marketing about their involvement with the Indigenous Corporation, the importance of diverse storytelling and their favourite new publications from this season.
So Mugabala Books is the leading Indigenous publishing house in Australia. We're based on Yaru country in Broome, and it started in 1984 where there was a call out in community out in Fitzroy to preserve culture, language and knowledge through books, and it kind of evolved from there, from being a Kimberley-based institution to now spreading seeds across the country, and that's the Mugabala way. The Mugabala is actually a banana plant that does spread its seeds throughout certain times of the season, and that's, I guess, the beauty of Mugabala Books, is that's what it does. Yeah.
Beautiful. So I'll get you both to kind of explain to us your involvement at Mugabala Books as well. So we'll start with you first, Cole.
So I do part-time social media for Mugabala, and a lot of the time what that looks like for me is being able to link up with the creators and small bookstore owners like Nat in person and creating content, and we've got lots of authors, illustrators, original storytellers down here, as well as folks that come through Noongar country, and I get to impose some video and photo on them and just have a bit of a giggle and pick their brain, and that's the bulk of what I do with Mugabala, as well as the bulk of the joy that I get to experience with Mugabala.
Beautiful. And yourself, Aggie?
I'm on the same journey as Cole. I'm in the marketing, so doing a lot of the book launches, supporting the creators in how we celebrate their books. That's what I do.
I have a very important question to ask both of you. In your own way, can you tell us what storytelling means for you? We'll start with you, Cole.
Oh, that's good. Truth-telling, uplifting marginalised voices, strength in country, culture and family. We have got so many creators that are connected to Mugabala, to country, to themselves. There's one family in particular that consists of Auntie Sally Morgan, who's a prolific children's picture book writer who is quite prolific from her first title, My Place, I believe, and then her mum, Auntie Gladys Milroy, who's an illustrator and author, and Sally's sister, Auntie Helen Milroy, and then another one of their mob, Amblin Quay Mulliner, and they just about do everything under the sun, and that just so strengthens all the, just that ethos of culture, truth-telling, everything that we're going for, and it's dispersed out there in the form of children's picture books, poems, anthologies, short stories, more long-form stuff.
Yourself, Aggie. It's a very
That's just
question.
Covered everything, I think.
No, you got it.
No, I think that's, just to echo, it's to echo that is it. I think in this space it is changing the landscape, I think, in Australian literature. I think it's also about a lot of these texts are to be looked not only as stories but as truth, and we've been a long time, our story's never been as validated as it is now, and I think that's a beautiful thing. I also think that these texts become academic, like literature, to question and to challenge what especially contemporary Australia has believed in the past. So top of what Cole said.
100%. And what Cole was also saying, Magabala books, they demonstrate heaps of storytelling through children's books, through art, through literature, through poetry, as well as you were saying as well. For our viewers out there who don't know who Magabala books are, tell us about the importance of First Nation storytelling and the importance of Aboriginal-run businesses in particular as well.
I think it's invaluable. It's to have a First Nations publishing firm that is grounded in a vision of relationship building, of elevating and empowering our own mob and our own voice. You couldn't find a better place to do that, and then to be able to receive the rewards of that through literature is everything in a journey of as a creator, not only in words but in the illustration and in the artwork that's created through this process. So in the business sense, I think it also creates employment opportunities that are aligned with arts and culture, which are aligned with what we actually want to do in life. And yeah, I'm fortunate enough to be working in a space that's so aligned with my values and community, and that's another element to Magabala books, is that everything that's created is not just for the individual, but it's created for the community and a gift to community.
Beautiful. I have one final question. Yeah, did you want to add to that as well, Cole?
Yeah, I mean, let's grab this right here.
Yeah,
you know, this is the importance. Young Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Yorgas and gender diverse people, visibility, representation. This is so massive. You know, that's great for a lot of people to be able to, say, walk into a Dimmicks and pick something off the shelf and just be like, cool, kids book, yep. But, you know, these are the lesser heard voices that are just as important and deserve more equity. So, because everyone can relate to a young princess, but for a young black person to see themselves on the cover of a book and be like, wow, that's me inside there, just speaks volumes. So visibility, representation is something that's always at the forefront of when I'm speaking with creators and people that support our books. They have gotten the memo and know that that's what we're all about, and that's what sort of drives us. And yeah.
Do you believe mainstream storyteller distributions are lacking representation when it comes to showcasing stories from diverse communities and cultures?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a mixed bag. I feel like in the last 2 years, things have come a really long way. And it used to be that we were like one of the only places that people would come to find some of these stories. And now, like, you can walk into many, particularly like indie bookshops, have always tried to champion, I think, a broader range of books. But I don't think it's really gone far enough. And I don't know that people are necessarily curating their books thinking about what voices need to be supported or which voices aren't getting publicity but deserve the spotlight. And I think that's what I would like to see in the future, is more curation that that spotlights amazing titles like Magabala titles that should be showcased but don't always have the tens of thousands of dollars of publicity money that get put behind them, you know.
And now here is AMA WA spokesman Dr. Andrew Miller with his weekly COVID-19 update and medical commentary.
Hi, thanks for your time. As we approach Christmas, really important to remember a couple of things about gift giving. One, tablet batteries for young children, serious health issue if they swallow those. So try and be very careful with them. Wrap them in sticky tape as the old ones, even as soon as you get them out of the old toys, and make sure that new ones aren't left lying around where kids can get them. And dispose of old batteries thoughtfully using the recycling facilities that are provided. And the other is for the mental health of parents. Please don't give children toys that make annoying noises. It then takes us quite a while to figure out how to explain to the children what happened to those toys when we inevitably have to get rid of them for our own sanity. In terms of COVID, of course, good idea to put a mask on when doing the Christmas shopping. None of the people in the shopping centre want to give you COVID, I'm sure, but some of them could during this current wave, and that's going to mess up the celebrations and the chance to be with those that we love, particularly our elderly and relatives who we know are more vulnerable to the severe complications of this disease. Speaking of which, it's good to see at least one federal backbencher calling on the government to upgrade our vaccination standards to match those of the US, where people are able to get a booster if they want one after 3 months since their last one. They're able to get the new Omicron bivalent booster if they want one. And they're also, of course, vaccinating young children. And this is a time of year when we like to create a good experience for them. It would be great if our under fives could get their first doses of Moderna and Pfizer, and it would be terrific if those over 5 could get the boosters that they should be getting by this stage. There are some in the UK and in Australia who want to use young children as a reservoir to spread the disease in order to have some herd immunity around. There's a couple of problems with that. One being we don't know what will happen in the long term to children who are infected with this virus. Secondly, we don't know how many of those children will develop severe complications from this disease. And third, we're not at all convinced that the immunity that you get after this virus is particularly useful. So, and it may in fact even reduce your immune protection from other diseases. And in countries where there are high rates of children being admitted to hospital at the moment for things like RSV, the former US Surgeon General, for instance, is suggesting this may be related to COVID's ability to not strengthen, but in fact weaken the immune system of the paediatric population. So people should be listening to the voices that are calling for at least parents to have a choice in this realm, because if this is the age of personal responsibility, if governments are giving up on telling us what to do or imposing restrictions in order to allow the disabled and the vulnerable in the community to be out and amongst us, at least give us the tools that we need to prevent severe disease, hospitalisation and death through being able to access the vaccines that we want to have. Thanks very much for your time, and try to stay sane during the silly season.
That was Dr. Andrew Miller, and now a brief weather update. Western Australia will remain warm as we approach summer, with temperatures hovering around the low 30s. 30 degrees on Monday and Thursday, 32 on Tuesday and 33 on Wednesday. 29 on Friday, and evenings will remain cool throughout the week between 14 to 18 degrees. It'll be mostly sunny for the next few days, and that's Western Perspective this week. I'll be back next Sunday. Until then, Ivan and Melly, it's back to you.
Thanks, Maddie. And now here's Leo. What's coming up on 6 News tonight?
Thanks, guys. On 6 News, a 56% increase in power prices by the end of 2023. That's the forecast for Aussies from some out of Parliament being recalled. Former Vic Labor Minister and MP Adam Somyurek now seems likely to defeat the Reason Party's Fiona Patten in the Victorian Upper House. And Morocco defeats Portugal to become the first African nation to reach the Final Four in the World Cup, as fallout continues over the death of a US journalist who was covering the Cup in Qatar. You can see full details on those stories and many more by heading to our YouTube channel. Just search 6 News AU to find us, or watch live on our website, 6newsau.com. And other guys, it is back to you.
Thanks, Leo. And that's our weekly news and current affairs. We have the latest news on our website, wamnnews.com.au.
Don't forget to subscribe to the WAMN Extra News Club so we can continue our work in the community. Full details on wamnnews.com.au/news/extra. From Melly and myself, we wish you good health, good night. See you next Sunday.
Thanks for watching.